Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Now, for all you space detectives out there, today I've got a couple of new Gigapans up for you to have a look at. In fact, there's a whole load of new Gigapans on my Gigapan site, which is ArtAlienTV-Gigapans on Gigamacro. There will be a link to this main page in the description below. And there's loads of new stuff to look at here. I've got some new finds. There's this croc dog thing, which is like a crocodile. It's a new find. And what I've been doing is I've been getting all my favourite finds from recent, and not only recent ones, but from the past, and putting up Gigapans of the areas where I found them to show that some of these things are absolutely surrounded by objects and remains on the ground. It's actually impossible not to find anything if you look properly. So how NASA can claim that there's nothing but rocks on Mars and maybe there's some microbes hidden away somewhere, I don't know how they can claim that, because they obviously haven't looked at these, and they obviously haven't looked at their own photographs. And there is evidence, though. Now, most of them are fine, but there is evidence in this Gigapan, I've got a new find here for you, that this whole set of images, there's only 5 in this set, it seems like this whole set have been redacted, or what would I call it, censored. Because when you put them together, even the individual ones, if you look at them individually, are pretty poor. But when you put them together in a Gigapan like I've done here, they all look very, very smudged, like this. And you can't get any real detail out of them at all. Look at that. Now, that's not what it should look like. We should be able to see granular detail in the sand, in the foreground here, and on these rocks. You should be able to see texture. But they're pretty much all the texture is gone from this set of images for some reason. So it looks to me like that these have been either over compressed or double compressed, or somebody has deliberately smudged them. But there is a new find here, so it is still possible to find stuff even in ones that have been smudged, if you know how to look for them and where to look. And this is a new find. I've called this Dead Man Spike, because this is a dead person and he has spiky hair. You can just about make out some spikes here. It's not very clear, I appreciate that, but this set of images has been very badly downgraded, deliberately, it looks like, and I'll prove that in a second. But this was an interesting find. I kind of stumbled on this when I put the Gigapan up, and I thought, wow, there's a dead person just lying there, and I'll show you where to look. Up here, there's a little star. There he is. Right. Now this is small. I'd say somewhere between about 9 inches and about 15, or perhaps a bit bigger. Really small, right? And up on the ridge here we have the famous elongated skull, which I found back in 2014. Published back then. August, I think. August the 9th I published it. Found it the day before. There it is. Now this is about at least 12 inches long. Now this is further away, right, because it's up on that ridge, further away from the rover. This thing is a bit closer. It's not quite halfway down the ridge, and it's about the same. So this is bigger than that, I would say. Possibly about 14 inches, maybe. Don't know exactly. Could be less, don't know. Doesn't really matter, because basically we have other examples of small dead Martians on the surface to compare it to. And a lot of them are this kind of size. There are some skulls of very large Martians who I estimate to have been between 12 and 15 feet tall, but they're few and far between, and we don't have any whole specimens of those. We only have skulls so far, fossilized skulls, whereas this is a whole person. It's not very clear, but that's what it is, and I'm going to show you in here. Now, let me demonstrate how bad this set of images was, right? Let me show you this on here first. Now, if you go over to here, in the corner on the right, there's this very strange thing. And I thought, what the hell's that? It stands out like a sore thumb, and it doesn't make any visual sense, right? It's got what looks a bit like a head at one end, like a little sphinx just here, like a head, and a body coming around like this. And it's similar in shape to some of the other sphinxes I've shown on Mars, which are way bigger than this. This is only about a foot or so long. I thought, oh, that's interesting. What I'll do, I'll take a clip and then see what happens, and I'll try and enhance it. And this is what happens when you try and enhance it, right? Here's a raw clip. Now, what I always do, usually first, is color correct it to try and make it look more like it would on Earth, right? To make it go a bit bluer. And what I use is automatic color balance, right? Usually around the sunlight part of the spectrum here, just to make it a little bit more realistic looking. And this is what happens. It all breaks up into these blocks. This part of the image, or at least I would say the whole set of images, have been heavily censored and heavily downgraded. And when you try and color correct it, it goes this, it all just breaks up into these big blocks. So this has been edited, I would say. And I think you'll find the same with almost all of this Gigapan. It's not quite so bad in the middle section where that dead dude is with the spiky hair. It's not quite so bad there. When you do the same thing there, this will still happen, but it's not quite so bad. But this part of the image, for some reason, has been redacted. And I wonder whether there was something here sticking up from there, just here. Maybe a column or maybe something sticking up. I can't tell you what because it's not there. I would hazard a guess that this thing has been edited. When you look at it, it looks very strange. The way it sticks out. It's a different colour from the surrounding sand and it's kind of highlighted, but all this up here is garbage above it, right? It looks to me that there is something here and it's been pasted over very badly, and this is why we get all these squares and weird blocks on here. It looks like it's been badly edited, and we got these lines coming through. See these lines? Now, you normally get lines like that when you copy and paste sand from one area and use the clone brush and then clone the sand over it like this in a line, and you end up with these lines, right? This looks like it's been cloned over and edited, and we've got a lot of distortion just above it here. You can see that just above this head shaped thing. There's a lot of distortion here and around it. This looks like it's been edited. It does look to me as if this has been redacted or censored or whatever word you want to use for that, because this is just wrong. This shouldn't happen. But all this is garbage up here, and you've got these lines coming across. That is a no-no, right? You see lines and squares like this. A lot of these squares are compression marks where the image has been badly compressed downwards and reduced in quality, right? But this part up here has got these stripes going across it. That, to me, looks like it's been cloned over, right? We got the main one at the top here, the elongated skull that looks like ones you see from parts of Peru, the Paracas skulls in Peru that Brian Forster shows on his channel. It's in fact an exact match. You can see here it's an exact match here. We've even got the same lumps on the skull here, on the top of the skull, on the cranium. It's the same shape. It's about the same size. In fact, this one on Mars I'd say is a bit bigger than the ones on Earth. This is perhaps about 1.5 foot long. These are very large, but not that large. So I mean, it matches up perfectly. You got the same details. So that's an old find. But this one here, let me just show you on here what I'm seeing, just to make it a bit more obvious. It's a bit hard to get your head around this because it's very, very blurred. Like I said, this set of images has been redacted. For some reason, they decided to muck the images up so much that most of the detail is completely gone, right? But I'm going to draw around it very quickly for you. Here's the head. Here's the head here. You can see the spiky kind of parts to it here. Coming round, got these little spikes. You've got an arm here. This is the hand. We got a little bit of finger detail there, not a lot. Arm coming up like this, and I think it goes like that. Torso. Leg. Knee. Shin. Boot or shoe here. Other shoe here. The other leg I think is tucked in under that and broken. or it may be tucked under this way. So this person has been possibly flung up in the air and landed on his back and killed, probably by an explosion, I would say, the cataclysm, whether it was a nuclear one or not. The nuclear one was supposed to have happened millions of years ago. This thing doesn't look like it's been here for millions of years. Maybe thousands, but not millions. This, I'm not sure what's going on here. There's some confused detail here, and that's very straight. This looks like an object or a part of something maybe that's fallen on it. But there may be an arm here and something else as well, but there's not enough detail to tell what that is. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing. You can actually see, if you look carefully, you can see the finger detail in here, right? Finger and thumb detail, and the hand coming round. And this is wearing some kind of garment there. You can see the sleeve that's there hanging down. And you can also see some interesting details here. Below the knee, you've got these interlocking parts as if he's wearing some kind of armour or something on the leg here. You see this? Either that or the leg is badly broken. You've got these parts coming in and out like this. This is very odd. This says to me broken leg or artificial leg. So this may not even be or have been a person as we know it. This may have been some kind of android, who knows? But the leg detail is very strange. This part looks normal, the thigh, but you get to the knee and then we got all these confused interlocking details here. Now what that may be is something attached to the leg, like a bit of armour or something, I don't know. Something may have been eating it or attacking it, we don't know. There's not really enough detail to say either way really. But that's very odd, that struck me as very strange. But this could be a doll, who knows? It could be a doll and these may be parts of it, you know. We really don't know. There's not enough detail to say whether this was a real person or not. But it does look like a person of some sort. And it's not the only one. We also have these in this other Gigapan I've got up here. Now this one was from Sol 646. Now these you've probably seen before on my channel. We got, going from the left here, we've got a helmet here, which looks kind of Greek or Roman or something like that. There's a little head there, which is tiny. We've got a person wearing a helmet here. You can see the helmet coming round. This is mummified and very ancient probably. The helmet comes up like that. This may have had a crest on it, this helmet. We've got these circular parts in the helmet detail, right? We got a cat-like person or creature here, possibly carved. It looks carved to me, but maybe mummified. Who knows? It's a cat-like person. And then what I've done, I've shown the main thing, which is the old lady here, I've called it. I put here, got the head here. Seems to be wrapped in a very thick kind of duvet-like garment, holding a bag here. Okay, there's the head. You can see the eyes and the nose and the mouth. And this is the same type of person as these are. And these were found by Martian about 4 or 5 years ago. There's links to all these things. If you click on the information links here, they will take you straight to the video, so you can see the video if you want to find out more about these things, okay? This was found by Martine. Amazing find. I did an enhancement of it when I saw hers, and hers is also very good. You'll see that in the video. But these are the same type and about the same size. These are about a foot tall. Right? About a foot tall. These were about a foot tall. Maybe less, maybe a bit more. Don't know exactly. But they're very small, okay? And then we have very strange elongated skulls like this one. This one here got an eye still, just there. Nose coming down here, and you can see a row of white teeth just there. Right? So we've got elongated skulls. We've got very different species going on here. We've got little smaller people. This is quite small as well. These are tiny. They're all very small. There's no giants in this area. Then we have this reptilian type skull here, Reptoid, or I think I call it a dragon, but because it looks a bit like a dragon here. It's a bit hard to see that. You've got to look at the video really, because that kind of shows it in better detail. So there's the little woman here, the old lady, kind of lying back on this ridge. There she is. And you can follow the links to the video from there if you want. But even in the raw image, you can see that's a head. We've got a hand holding something here, right? And a bag here. But she's wrapped in a thick kind of garment of some sort. So you can check these out. You can take your own clips and enhance them yourself. Add contrast and you'll see it, brighten it up. You'll see it right there. The raw image is actually very good in this one. Unlike the previous set I showed you, where the dead guy is, the dead man's spike is. This is a really good Gigapan, this, and when you zoom in, you see proper detail here. You can see the granular detail in the sand, as you should, and lots of texture in the rubble and on the rocks, like this, see? So this is what Gigapans should look like. Whereas you go to this one, it's been heavily smudged, blurred, and parts of it edited out, it seems, over here. And when you zoom in, you go up to the close foreground. Even this big rock here, it's got no texture. It's all kind of smooth and blurred and smudged. It's really quite bad. So what were they up to? There was something in this set of images they didn't want us to see. I don't know what it is, because they removed it. But it seems like over here they covered something up that was maybe sticking out above this structure here, which may have been a sphinx or something similar, right? Let me just point out some of the details in this. I mean, in previous videos I showed giant skulls. Now these are very small, these are only about a foot tall, okay? But the giant skulls that I showed recently indicate that some of the Martians, at least in the very distant past, were between 12 and 15 foot tall, possibly taller, okay? Because those skulls are enormous. Really big, okay? So we've got different types of Martians that may have lived at very different epochs on Mars. Some may have died out and some may have re-evolved or hid away when the cataclysm hit and then come back out and survived it and hid underground or whatever. But this was one of my favourite finds, this one, of recent years. And you've got the head coming around here, you've got eyes here, nose here, and a little chin there, the teeth there like that, and some kind of headgear in a point, like a little hat, and this is a hand, and this is some kind of sleeve or object that's being held here, and this is a bag. You can see this bag comes right round like this, and in the bag is open, just here. This is the flap of the bag, and it's got these buttons on it, like this, if you look closely there. So you can see all that in the Gigapan, so check those out. There's lots of new Gigapans that I put up in the last week or so. I've done about 40, and you may prefer some of them with buildings in. There's this one I put up just the other day with the caves, which is really interesting. You can see these up pretty closely if you zoom in. Well, I've taken some nice close-up clips as well. We've got the raw Gigapan at the top, and then we've got a raw clip here. You can even see them in the raw clip right here. Look, there's a row of caves. There's rows and rows of them, and when you enhance the image and enhance the contrast, you can see them much more clearly, like I've done here. Now, natural caves wouldn't occur in rows like this, evenly spaced. There's no way. These are intelligent structures. There's a whole row of them here. They're not very clear if you go in too close. See a whole row of them there. There's about 20 of them in a row there. There's a bunch of them at the top there as well. So that was an interesting one. So some of these Gigapans have got structures. Many of them have got fossils. Some of them have got creatures and things lying around on the ground like skulls. Some of them have got hundreds of finds in them. Some have only got a few. There's the tank, which you've probably seen. This one I put up again the other day. One of my favourites. This was found by Ira Lawrence a couple of years ago, I think. The mobile phone, which looks very much like a mobile phone. It doesn't mean it is, but it looks like one. It's even got a row of 4 buttons here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a rectangular screen and a white body to it. And there's some interesting bits around it as well, which may have been part of it. Who knows? I actually think this is more likely a a piece of a mosaic or part of some kind of artwork that was perhaps on the wall or on the floor of a building here. A lot of these ridges here are ruined buildings. Some are full of burials, and some are, I think, were actual buildings, and people lived in them. And a lot of what we're seeing here are fragments of these buildings that have all fallen down. They were using concrete as well as stone to make things. And so there is artwork, there's glyphs on the side of some of them, there's gold on the side of some of them, and there are fragments of artwork lying around all over the place, like statues and stuff like that. And I think this is probably part of a piece of artwork rather than the mobile phone. But isn't it interesting how it's got buttons on it? 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row, just there. Very, very interesting. That's an awesome find. So some of these finds are by other people, so they're all credited here. As with my videos, I always credit people where credit is due, and put links to their stuff as well. So there's lots of stuff to see here. Some of them are pretty bleak and there's hardly anything in them, but some of them are absolutely rammed with goodies. And there's some on the moon as well. There's a new building that I found the other day on Mount Sharp from this view, which is a new set of images. There's only one thing in this set which is worth looking at, and it's this building up here, up on the ridge here. It doesn't look much, but when you enhance the contrast, you can see it's got this kind of structure on the back of it there. See that sticking up? And it comes down like that. So lots of things to see. So there will be links to all this stuff in the description as usual. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe, and do come along to my Twitter account on Twitter. Just look up ArtAlienTV and you'll find me at ArtAlienTV. That's my profile. Thanks for watching. See you soon.